Wanted to do a quick video clip of the spring bulb bed. It's in the side yard as you come out the door that we use primarily to go in and out of the house. It's pretty much past its peak right now, but there's still a few things blooming that are worth capturing. This red bud that I'm focused on right now is called Avondale, and it's very immature right now. I think this is maybe the third year it's been in, and it's really still small, but it does bloom like crazy. And I just was reading recently that Avondale is one of the most prolific bloomers of all the red buds. And I lucked out getting these tulips underneath that do the color echo thing and are blooming at the same time as the red bud. Can't remember the name offhand, it's purple something, I've got it in my notes. And I'll be treating tulips as annuals here, so I like to order more in the fall. Still need to do a lot of mulching and a little bit more composting to amend the dirt here. This is a new flower bed. Well, parts of it are. The part where the weeping cherry is has been there for a long time. But 2 years ago I just extended it because no grass was growing back there anyway, and I'm always looking for more garden space. Not that I have any lack of it, but it sure does seem to keep growing and growing and growing in volume of what I'm trying to do here. This is a steep bank. I don't know if it really shows it in the video, but I need some soil erosion control. So one of the things that does really, really well here are these big root geraniums. I buy them in these flats from North Creek, and it's a cheap way to do it, and they really grow and will hold in the soil on this bank in short order. And next to it is a tiarella. I think it's a native called brandywine. So between those two things, I hope to at least get these on the bank to, help hold in the soil, and then I'll get mulch on it. Probably need to amend this soil first with compost and some topsoil. It's rocky and got a lot of clay. The other thing I put here last fall are these 4 mountain laurel. It's a cultivar called Sarah, and it gets light pink flowers. So we'll hope to see it bloom, in the May time frame. Anxious to see what it looks like. And back there, the hyacinths are done. What's kind of funny is we get a big group buy going with our Mid-Atlantic folks in the fall for spring bulbs, and we use ADR. The prices are really good when you buy in volume. They're a wholesale place, but they do have a little bit of quality control surprises. These groups of hyacinths, there were 2 different cultivars of purple, but when they bloomed, lo and behold, mixed in with the very specific cultivar of purple is some unknown pink. And usually I like happy surprises, but it just didn't look well there at all. So I dug them up, and now I have a whole clump of pink ones further down in this bed. Behind it, it's a bridal wreath spirea, and that used to be back in the woods at the edge, and it's one of the things that's been here a really long time. I'd say at least 15 years, and it's been alive, and it does blossom, but not really well because it's too shaded. So last fall I dug it up and moved it here more towards the center now that this flower bed is extending back to the edge of the woods, and the area right behind it is no longer going to be grass, but part of what's now this bigger flower bed. Love that bench underneath the weeping cherry tree. That is sitting on stone gravel as a base. That's one of the things I've been learning, is you can't just stick your benches or bird baths or anything like that just can't stick them on the ground because they constantly sink and go cockeyed. So what I did is put stone gravel underneath, and it's actually sitting on some large stepping stones. So more permanent, less maintenance kind of thing. That weeping cherry, another story about that. Again, years ago, many years ago, I was at a nursery and they were having their fall clearance sale, and this huge cherry was half price. Even at half price, it was a $200 tree, and I splurged and got it. So it was a thick diameter tree to start with, and that was when I first was really into, started loving gardening. And Mike really is not into it like I am, and he told me if I buy anything, I've got to be the one that plants it. So they had to load this tree onto the back of the pickup truck with a forklift. It was in a huge burlapped root ball. I got it off the back of the pickup truck with chains and the bucket of our tractor. I drug it through the parking area, and when the chains fell off and it stopped, that's where I decided this is all the further I'm going, and that's where it's going to be planted. I dug away at that huge hole for the root ball probably 2 hours or so, and I was getting tired and I was just about done, but didn't think I would go on that day. I'd give it a break and come back and attack it later. But just then a neighbor from on the back side of the property came through on his four-wheeler, took a look at it and said, "I'll help you do that hole." Well, he took about 15 minutes, and as strong as he is, he finished it. But like I said, I did the majority of the hole myself. And just about that time, Mike arrived home from work, took one look at John Bowman and said, "Wow, she talked you into digging her hole for you? And, thanks for doing that." I just looked. John Bowman took all the credit, and I did most of that big hole myself. So anytime I see this cherry tree, I really think of kind of that story. This is already past peak. They were, what is it called? Something in, shoot, I've drawn a blank on what this is. Winter snowflake? No, that doesn't sound right. Oh, shoot. It'll come to me. But they're, Glory of the Snow. That's what it is. They're one of the really early bloomers, and this particular cultivar is a light pink. Another funny thing about that, I thought I planted it up by the base of the cherry tree. I hadn't marked it in the fall, and kept looking up there because I knew it was an early bloomer. Never saw any signs of emergence. And then one day I'm still looking, and all of a sudden something caught my eye down here on the slope. I mean, it's only, 10 feet away. And I looked, and there, sure enough, were all those Glory of the Snows just blooming away. So I had to laugh. I thought my memory was good, but obviously not. And here are the pink hyacinths that were part of the quality control problem from ADR. But I moved them all here, and so now I have a nice clump. I always do tulips in here. Like I said, I treat them as annuals. I really like tulips, but the ones behind, if you can see, the deer came and ate every single one of them. Now, why they chose that tulip and not these pretty ballade tulips in front, or these really kind of brilliant pink ones, is beyond me, but deer do what they do. I think if you'll tell from these videos, I really like all kinds of garden art. This one is another plaque, and it's about a cherry tree, and then a plaque of tulips, because I do tulips in here quite a bit. And then there's more of a close-up of the bench to sit under. So the rest of this is all new as of the end of last fall. Still needs a lot of work, compost, amendments, mulch, But I planted new peonies in here. There's one further along this berm. Are a couple more. I was really happy to see them emerge because they were so much later than the other peonies that I've already got established. And it's, you know, a new place I got them from. It was at one of their end of season sales last year. So really happy that all three of them actually made an appearance. Back here is where that spirea used to be. And you can see it was all in the woods, too shaded. But at one point I had this post with a bluebird house on it. It was just pressure treated, you know, 4x4. And now that the garden is extended and includes all the way back to this wood line, I thought I'd make a feature out of it. Bought that white plastic sleeve to go over it, and I have a new white PVC birdhouse to put on it. That's about it for this side yard bed. I'm not going to do anything with this main part back here until Mike's done with the Dry Creek riverbed down there. Otherwise he'll just drive his tractor through it. Hoping he gets that done soon so I can finish this up and get rid of a lot of this mud. It's been a real pain in the rear end having all this construction back here for the last, I guess it's going on 4 years now, because this is the main way we go in and out of the house, and the dogs, and we had a lot of people living here, so you can tell how bad that would have been to track all this dirt in the house. Not that I'm much of a housekeeper, but 4 years is an awful long time to be dealing with that. And with that, I will end this particular video. Like I said, this was the spring bulb bed in the side yard.